여러분 그러면 자리에서 일어나서 여러분 이리나보코바
추운 날씨인데 서울 영도까지 오시느라 고생 많으셨습니다. 오늘은 정말 여러분이 만나기 힘든 매우 특별한 분을 모셨는데요. 바로 유네스코 사무총장이신 이리나보코바 사무총장님이십니다. 보코바 사무총장님은 우리 유네스코 한국위원회 창립 60주년을 축하해 주시기 위해서 먼 길을 오셨는데요. 정말 일정이 빠듯하고 바쁘시거든요. 그럼에도 불구하고 여러분들을 위해서 특별히 시간을 내주셨습니다. 보코바 사무총장님 정말 감사드립니다. 왜 보코바 사무총장님이 여러분을 만나러 이곳까지 오셨을까요? 그것은 총장님이 여러분 한 분 한 분을 정말 소중하게 여기시기 때문입니다. 여러분이 자라서 세계를 위해 정말 큰일을 하는 지도자가 될까라는 것을 믿고 격려하고 여러분에게 꿈을 심어주기 위해서 오신 것입니다. 여러분이 장차 어떤 인물이 될 것인지 지금 알 수 있는 사람은 한 사람도 없습니다. 그렇지만 한 가지 분명한 것은 여기 계신 보코바 사무총장님도 반기문 유엔 사무총장님도 그리고 전 세계 수많은 지도자들도 모두 여러분과 같이 어렸던 어린 시절이 있었다는 점입니다. 여러분 한 사람 한 사람이 자라서 세계 평화와 또 번영을 위해서 큰 일을 할 수 있는 중요한 인물들이 다 될 수가 있습니다. 그렇지만은 세상에 저절로 되는 일은 없겠죠. 여러분이 세계적인 글로벌 지도자가 되기 위해서는 그렇게 되기로 결심하는 것이 중요하고 또 그렇게 되기 위해서 끊임없이 노력하는 것이 중요하다고 생각합니다. 그런 결심도 하지 않고 노력도 하지 않는 사람이 글로벌 리더가 될 수는 없겠죠. 모든 것은 결국 여러분이 마음먹기에 달려있다는 점을 제가 먼저 말씀을 좀 드리고 싶습니다. 유네스코 한국위원회가 이런 유네스코키즈 프로그램을 만든 것은 우리나라의 여러 어린이들에게 기능을 가르치는 프로그램은 굉장히 많은데 정말 세계를 향한 꿈과 비전을 심어주는 그런 프로그램이 없었기 때문입니다. 이 유네스코 키즈 프로그램을 통해서 1년에 100명씩 미래의 지도자들을 육성을 한다고 합니다. 10년이면 1000명, 20년이면은 2000명이 나올 거고 저는 그 가운데 반드시 반기문 사무총장과 같은 위대한 글로벌 리더가 나올 것이라고 확신을 합니다. 오늘 비록 짧은 만남이지만 여러분 미래를 위해서 정말 귀중한 시간이니까 우리 보코바 사무총장님 말씀 잘 듣고 여러분 스스로 꿈을 만들고 또 그렇게 노력을 하겠다고 결심하는 시간이 되길 바랍니다. 여러분 그렇게 하실 거죠? 네, 고맙습니다.
Thank you very much. First of all, Dr. Min for inviting me for this wonderful opportunity to meet the children and their parents, their families here at the National Commission of Korea for UNESCO. I know that you will be traveling in 2 weeks. You will be in Paris. And you will meet a lot of my colleagues and you will see at headquarters what UNESCO is doing. Unfortunately, I won't be there. So we agreed with Dr. Min that I will come here and I will meet you in order to prepare your visit. First, I would like to thank the National Commission and to congratulate the National Commission for this wonderful initiative. Because everything we do it for you. We do it for the future generation so that you understand how education works, so that you know the world, so that you know what is at stake when we speak that you have to care about the environment, that you have to value and respect your families, that you have also to know about other cultures. And you have to know your own culture also in order to be a proud Korean citizens of this great nation with the very long history and very long heritage that you have. UNESCO was created, and today we will celebrate 60th anniversary of the Korean National Commission. UNESCO was created after the Second World War, when there was a lot of destruction, there was a lot of deprivation. And UNESCO now has 195 member states. Practically, it's the most universal organization in the world. From North to South to Africa and Latin America, and here in the Asia Pacific, all these countries are members of UNESCO. UNESCO was created in order to promote peace among the different nations. UNESCO was created in order to promote education so that children like you can go to school, can receive a good education. And unfortunately, this is not the case, because still in the world, there are 57 million children that cannot go to school. Like you can go to school, others cannot go to school. They cannot learn how to write and read. They cannot acquire their skills in order to find a proper job and to know also how to take care of their families and of their countries and their communities. So what UNESCO is doing, we want that every single boy and girl go to school. We work with governments, we work with the international organizations in order to create the conditions so that every boy and girl go to school. And this is very important in this world, because ignorance, unfortunately, can bring a lot of misunderstandings, can bring also conflict and degradation of our environment and lack of development for different countries. UNESCO is promoting culture, and when we say promoting culture, we want that every single culture in the world is respected, that heritage is protected, and that when they say heritage, it's also tangible, intangible, all these beautiful old palaces and buildings that previous generations have left to you, so that we can pass it on and we can protect it. And you should be proud of your heritage, because this heritage has been created by your fathers and your grandfathers, and you are now have to take care of it, and you have to pass it also to your children. And other countries have also very rich cultures, and this is the beauty of this world, that we have such a diversity of cultures. But you have first and foremost to know your own culture. And if you know your own culture, then go and study the culture of the others and appreciate and respect also the culture of the others. And of course, UNESCO is also very much encouraging youth exchanges, so that young people from all over the world get together and know more about each other. We have, and I know here in Korea also, there is a big network of schools, of associated, as we call it, associated UNESCO schools. We have more than 8,000 around the world, so that young children like you can get in contact with each other, can exchange different ideas, can learn from each other. And of course, UNESCO is involved in so many other activities so that young people can use this opportunity in order to be involved in the lives of their communities. So I will stop here. I hope you can also express your opinions, or we can exchange if you have questions, and with Mr. Min we will try also to respond some of your questions. But I want you to be curious, I want you to learn, I want you to be creative, to be imaginative. I want you to be curious about the world and about your own country at the same time. I want really that you spend a very nice time in Paris when you come to UNESCO, and you will meet our colleagues there to understand what UNESCO is doing for the other children like you. And maybe when you come to Paris, I will ask some of my colleagues to show you a textbook. It is a textbook in Korean that was printed in 1956. And I think even your parents maybe were not born at that time. But for them it will be interesting. This is a textbook that a small boy like you are now, at that time his name is Ban Ki-moon, that he gave us this book also with us to UNESCO. We put it there in a stand to show what UNESCO has been doing for Korea long time ago. And he himself is someone, the Secretary General of the United Nations, giving it as a good example of respect to what UNESCO has been doing for Korea at those years already, maybe 50 years ago. 50, 60 years ago. So I will be very great if you can look at this textbook and maybe you could compare. It's a textbook on sciences. Whether this is something similar, or parents will say, is it something similar that you are studying right now? This means, I just wanted to mention this to say that UNESCO and Korea are very intertwined. We have a very close relations. We have been very much involved, and still Korea is a great partner of UNESCO. And that is why I have come here to pay respect to your country, to pay respect to the National Commission of Korea for UNESCO, and once again to meet you, wonderful young boys and girls, and to tell you once again, be curious, understand about the world, understand what does it mean to live in peace, what does it mean to care about the environment, and what does it mean also to be a responsible citizen of your country.
안녕하세요. 저는 충주 국원초등학교 5학년 정석현입니다. 저희 질문은 과거 식민지 시대에 많은 약소국가들의 문화유산이 강대국들에 의해 약탈되었습니다. 지금 현재에도 많은 나라의 유물들이 다른 나라에 가 있습니다. 저는 문화유산은 그 나라의 후손들에게 가 있어야 할 때 가장 가치 있다고 생각합니다. 문화유산 반환에 대해 총장님은 어떻게 생각하시는지 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 감사합니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 영덕초등학교 4학년 우혜선입니다. 저의 질문은 좋은 습관에 관한 것입니다. 성공한 사람들은 각자의 좋은 습관이 있다고 합니다. 사무총장님께서는 어떤 좋은 습관이 있는지 말씀해 주세요. 감사합니다.
But let me start with the question put forward by you. Indeed, we know that history of humanity is a history of conflict, a history of conquest, history of, I would say, of great achievements, but at the same time of deprivation for many people. And during this period, there were big movements of populations, there were wars and conquests, and as you say, also culture and heritage in many of these instances has been damaged. What UNESCO is trying to do from contemporary perspective, first and foremost, is to value all cultures and to value all civilizations that have been created. And in fact, the concept of the World Heritage Convention that has been adopted 40 years ago and has established a big list of cultural sites, including 10 in the Republic of Korea, is to establish a list of those cultural monuments that have value for all the humanity. The concept of outstanding universal value, it's a great humanity. It means that what you have here in Korea is very much valued and respected and cared after in Latin America and in Africa. And this is the way we think that we want to create a new culture of human heritage that values every single culture in the world. So this is just the opposite of the concept of conquest or of destruction or of deprivation. It's a new kind of thinking, a new mentality that we want to establish in the world. It's equally also with intangible heritage, although it's not physical, but it is about identities. It's about why you are Koreans, what are your own traditions, and how you should value and preserve it also and pass it to the new generations. And I know that many of these treasures have been moved what UNESCO is trying to do nowadays is to encourage dialogue among the countries where these treasures of one culture are in museums in some other country. It's I would say it's a world phenomenon, it's a world movement, and it is very complicated sometimes to agree that museums agree, to cooperate and to do. But we think that encouraging such a dialogue and cooperation is important. But at the same time, I want to say something else. With everything that is happening nowadays, with all the conflicts that we see, and in some cases even armed conflict and wars that we see, and also in peaceful time, we see another very dangerous phenomenon. It is the illicit trafficking of objects of art. And we think that if in the past this had happened because humanity was not united around one value system, that it is not good to do this. Nowadays, we cannot afford in the 21st century to allow this illicit trafficking. And that is why we are mobilizing the public opinion. We have a convention, special convention on the illicit trafficking, and we do a lot of work in order to stop this illicit trafficking. Not to repeat what I say, some of the past experiences, but to give all the value to the current archaeological sites or others, not to be looted and not to be exported. The other question about the good habits, it's a very difficult question, I would say. I think among the good habits is the fact that you have to be disciplined. One of the good habits is to work hard. One of the good habits is also to respect the others. One of the good habits is also to understand what are the cultural differences between different people. I work in a multicultural environment. I have been interested since a very young girl, like you, in the cultures of others. I have learned foreign languages. I have tried to understand the cultures of the others. I have tried to put myself into the head of somebody else and to see with their eyes how they view the world. I think one of the good habits is also this respect for the others and respect for the previous generations. I think, and I try to follow this line of activity. So I would strongly encourage that you do the same, because I think this is what makes us responsible people, respecting also the others, but also following, I would say, your own path for the future. And I also think that a good habit is I would say, to follow your own value system and your own ideas. It is very important that when you do something, you are convinced and you believe in what you are doing. And you believe that you can do a good thing for the world. If you believe that you can change the world, maybe it's something small that you do. It doesn't mean that you have to make big things. But every small thing can change the world for the better. If you believe it, do it.
네, 총장님, 복과 총장님 귀한 말씀 감사드립니다. 네,